Good morning, exclamation point. Thanks for the soup offer. Period sounds great, period. I'm trying to watch Temple for Rachel's Bat Mitzvah, period. I expect it'll be over 10:30 or so, comma. And then I am on call.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom in the beautiful, extraordinary mountains of Ashland. I've never seen anything like it. With the cloud, fog, lakes, and rivers that you can see from above as you come down the hill. It is my great honor and pleasure to be here. My name is Chazan Diana Brewer. I have the honor today of officiating this beautiful rite of passage reboot for our beloved Rachel Shira Bat Chaya Reuven David, the daughter of Julie and Randall, my dear friends, as we call her today, to the Torah as a bat mitzvah for the second time, but the first time with other humans around and with Torah scrolls present. And we're here in the Callahan's Mountain Lodge. We're not at Temple Emek Shalom. And yet we've built, as we're commanded, a beautiful sanctuary in the space and in our hearts and in the Zoomosphere. Welcome to everybody zooming in from all over. We particularly like to mention Randall's mother, Helen, who's zooming in from Detroit, who couldn't be here with us today. And welcome all those who are in another realm who are here with us today. We welcome all souls into this room, into this space, into this sacred moment. A little tachlis, administrative stuff. Please silence, or better yet, turn off your cell phones. Smart watches can be put on do not disturb so they don't give you a little jolt every 15 minutes. And you're going to want to clap like crazy. You're going to want to clap. We're going to ask that, since this is not, in fact, a performance, this is a work of sacred service for the divine and to bring all of us into a little bit more holiness for today. We'll ask instead that you channel that clapping energy into big smiles, and jazz hands are welcome, and twinkles. So there is an outlet for the energy. And there may be people among us who are not comfortable with Hebrew. That happens in any gathering of Jewish worship, regardless of who's present. So please use the Siddur as a guide. All texts are printed in Hebrew and transliteration and English. Just like to acknowledge Rabbi Julie for making this incredibly beautiful Siddur, this prayer book for us. Siddur literally means like order. It'll take you right through the whole thing, word by word, including some really wonderful, like a glossary and information on what's happening today. So, and you may have discovered by now, if you're not entirely used to this, it reads from right to left. So the spine is on the right side instead of the left side. And we hope that you'll have an easy enough time navigating our prayer book this morning. Without further ado, I'll invite our bat mitzvah, Rachel, to lead us in our opening prayer of Shahianu, the prayer that acknowledges the miracle that we made it this far to this moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'hibianu l'asman hazeh. Blessed are you, God, who has kept us in life, who has sustained us, and who has permitted us to reach this precious moment.
Amen. In her next official act as a bat mitzvah, as a daughter of the commandments of mitzvot, these these tools that bring us closer into alignment with divine presence, I would like to invite Rachel's Aunt Amy to present her with a talit, a prayer shawl, which she will don and recite the blessing. Hold it right up. And you can take your mask off.
Rachel, I am so honored to be here with you today and to be able to present you with this beautiful talit that you picked out with your parents in Jerusalem. And I also want to offer you this beautiful talit bag that your grandma Helen made for you. She was so excited when you were born, another granddaughter, and she said, I better start right away on that talit bag. And as you know, she made talit bags for all of her grandchildren, her children and her grandchildren, and you were the youngest. And she was so thrilled. She started right away, needle pointing and making you this talit bag. And what an honor that she is actually here by Zoom today, participating. And I know she would be so proud of you and so excited for your bat mitzvah. So I want to offer you both this beautiful talit. And I hope that as you take this talit, that you will wear it with pride and know that you are becoming a full participant in the Jewish tradition that's handed down from generation to generation, and that you are taking your place among an amazing community of Jewish women who are now full participants as well in this sacred tradition. So you should, as my great-grandmothers and my grandmothers would have said, you should wear it in good health. Mazel tov.
I'll hold this for you while you say the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen. At this time, Rachel is now going to share with us some insight into her Jewish journey.
Shabbat Shalom and welcome to my bat mitzvah. It has been such a long journey to get to this point of celebration, and I'm so grateful to everyone who contributed to my learning and who's attending today in any manner to support my last step in this experience. From a very young age, I've been immersed in Hebrew and Judaism. Sometimes it would make me mad that I had to go through the process of learning about it, but I know now that it was worth it. Ever since my older brother's bar mitzvah, I've been thinking about mine. All of a sudden, it's here. For the past 24 months or so, elongated by COVID, I've been learning about both this week's Torah portion, Miketz, as well as my original Torah portion, B'chalotecha. Now, all my years of struggling through my classes and exploring the history of Judaism have culminated into a weekend of celebration and emergence into the true experience of being Jewish. But why should I choose Judaism? In the words of 11-year-old me, all Judaism is long. Long, monotheistic, one of the big three religions. That's all I thought of when I thought of Judaism. In my opinion at the time, this religion was kind of a waste of time. All we do is read a weird language and eat, to put it simply. Read the Torah, read the Talmud, read the Mishnah, eat some bagels, read more Talmud, eat some kugel, repeat. Now, at 13 years old, I understand that it is a huge part of me that I can't separate from the me that I have made. Everything about me is intertwined with Judaism in some way. So how do I make it mine? That question will be the challenge before me, possibly forever, though there are some parts of Judaism that I already align with. Ever since we moved to Ashland, much of my Judaism has been found through going to Camp Tawanga. Though some of the services and experiences can be strange, it is still such a comfort to have as my Jewish home and my second family. I've also found my favorite Jewish traditions through camp, as well as services in Alaska and our own little memories. Some of these include melodies that we will be singing today, special meals, and the little things like Shabbos naps and our family's Hanukkah box that is passed to a new person every year. Some of the things I love about Judaism are the traditions, the people, and obviously the food. Some of my favorite examples of these are Hanukkah, all our Jewish friends in Philadelphia who we shared so many fun memories with, and latkes, matzo ball soup, babka, and kugel. I hope I am able to convey these meaningful traditions with you today and that you can find your own memories to behold, Jewish or not. You are currently receiving a little snippet of my personal Judaism, and I'm honored to share this next step with you all. I hope you enjoy the service.
At the bottom of page 4, you'll find a prayer of blessing, of thanks, of gratitude, of thanksgiving for the opportunity to wake up this morning. And you'll notice that in the transliteration, you see 2 different versions, modeh ani, moda ani. Hebrew is a binary gendered language. Moda ani, you'll hear Rachel and me singing. Our male identified friends, you'll hear singing modeh ani. And I'm happy to tell you that there's a third option. In case you don't fall into either of these categories, there's a group of people that have been working on non-binary language for Hebrew. So if you fall under the category of they or other, you can say modet ani. And I'll invite Rachel to lead us in this prayer.
Moda ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha.
Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. My God, my Creator, the soul that you gave me, she is pure. We wake up each day with the promise of a clean slate. This is one of my favorite prayers. And today we're going to sing a melody, which you can find the words to in the middle of page 5, about having a pure heart. God, create a pure heart in me. We continue into our morning blessings, which describe the series of little tiny miracles, little tiny actions that we took and that we experienced in order to arrive right here this morning. And you'll see as Rachel leads us in this, that we'll be starting each blessing with the Hebrew opening and continuing with the English.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given me the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who straightens the bent over. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who cares for all my needs. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our footsteps. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who helps Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me in your image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from my eyes and slumber from my eyelids.
As my rabbi put it, that person, my rabbi, we have three basic types of prayer. We have please, thank you, which is where we've been most of this morning so far, and wow. So I now invite you into the wow portion of our spiritual journey this morning. Pesuke de Zimra, verses of praise. Blessed is the one who spoke the world into being. Wow. Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Bruchahi, Baruch Shema, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Bruchahi, Baruch Shema, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Bruchahi, Baruch Shema, Baruch Shema, V'haya ha'olam, Baruch Shema, V'haya ha'olam, Baruch Shema, V'haya ha'olam, Baruch Shema, V'haya ha'olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shema, Bruchahi, Baruch Shema, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Bruchahi, Baruch Shema, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Bruchahi, Baruch Shema. Baruch atah Adonai, Melech mehulal batishbacho. Top of page 9, these verses from Psalm 30 sort of combine please and wow. This is a quasi call and response type of thing. There are people in the room who are familiar, and you can follow the way that they respond. Elecha Adonai ekra ve'el Adonai etchanan. Elecha Adonai ekra ve'el Adonai etchanan. Shema Adonai v'choneni Adonai ozeni. Shema Adonai v'choneni Adonai ozeni. Hay ay lay lay, hay lay ay lay, hay ay lay 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 lay, hay lay lay lay, hay lay lay Wow. I haven't been in a room, in a prayer service with this many people for a really long time. This exceeds the number of people I've been with by about a factor of 3 or 4. And to hear so many voices is just filling my heart with joy in the most profound way. So I thank you, really, heartfelt thanks for joining to raise the ruach, to raise the spirit in the room and in the Zoom, and just wow. So we'll continue with the psalm that ties it all together. Kol haneshama, everything that has breath of life, tehalel yah, will praise the very breath of life. Psalm 150. יוצא שמה. הללו מצץ לתרועה, כל הנשמה תהלליה, כל הנשמה תהלליה. הללויה, 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 Nishmat Kol Chai, the breath of all life will bless your name, your essence. Nishmat Kol Chai, Tevarech et Shimcha, Adonai, Eloheinu, Nishmat Kol Chai, Tevarech et Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai.
We stand in the midst of the burning world, primed to burn with compassionate love and justice, to turn inward and find holy fire at the core, to turn outward and see the world that is all of one flesh with us, see under the trash, through the smog, the furry bee in the apple blossom, the trout leaping, the candles our ancestors lit for us. Fill us as the tide rustles into the reeds in the marsh. Fill us as the rushing water overflows the pitcher. Fill us as light fills a room with its dancing. Let the little quarrels of the bones and the snarling of the lesser appetites and the whining of the ego cease. Let silence still us, so you may show us your shining, and we can be out of the stillness, rise and praise.
Shochena Marom v'kadosh Shemo v'chatur ronenu tzadikim b'Adonai lo yisharim avad ilah v'fi yisharim titromam uv'divrei tzadikim titbarach ובשון חסידים תתקדש, ובקרב קדושים תתעלה. We rise into praise. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש, השמיים ובארץ. ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל העולות אדון הנפלאות, הבוקר בשירי זמרה, מלך אל חיי העולמים. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וביובכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמירה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה נתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושמחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. We call each other and ourselves into the awareness of blessing as we bless the source of all blessings. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorech choshech oseh shalom uvoreh et hakol. I'd like to invite Rachel's friend Elle Reisman to lead us in a song of light. As we enter the journey into Shema, we begin with the blessing of light, the light that opens us, warms us, opens us to greater possibility. The words to Elle's song can be found in your Siddur on page 13.
Hello? Does this work? Good. And is this hearable? Okay. It's already December. Time flies fast and now the sun sets in the afternoon. It's like I must have known you forever. Can't believe I didn't know you in June. Summer bunk beds and inside jokes, happy tears and harmonies. Watch billion little fires burn across the sky, turning strangers into family. I'll leave the stars on when the winter's here. It's raining at night now. When you wake up, it'll be clear. Finally got my pictures developed. Forever laughing underneath an August colored sky. Thank you for the light that you bring into my life. Never lose your shine. And I'll leave the stars on when the winter's here. It's raining at night now. When you wake up, it'll be clear. I knew since the first time I met you, you were someone that I could come to. Bunk bed, heart to heart, dancing in the dark. You leave your light with me. And I knew since the first conversation, we'd be a brand new constellation. You leave your light with me. You leave your light with me. I'll leave the stars on when the winter's here. It's raining at night now. When you wake up, it'll be clear. I'll leave the stars on when the winter's here. It's raining at night now. When you wake up, it'll be clear.
Sweeter invitation into love, I can hardly imagine. Thank you, El. From this light, we move into the gift of love, the love that we were given. Ahava Rabba Ahavtanu. You, whoever you are, which is how I pray sometimes myself. I don't know about you. Whoever you are, whatever you are, what a great love you have given us. Ahava Rabbah, page 14. Ahava, 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 Ahava Rabbah, Ahavtanu. Ahava, Ahava, Ahava Rabbah, eyes with your teaching, the love that we were given. It's the love of Torah, the love of good, orderly direction. Who couldn't use a little good, orderly direction every once in a while to enlighten the eyes and to draw us closer into divine intention, the divine intention of unity and the collaborative work of creation. And with this love and this light, we gathered together from the four corners of the universe. We gather together the four corners of our own worlds as we approach our statement of faith and unity. והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו קוממיות לארצנו, כי אל פועל ישועתה, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול סלע באמת, להודות לך על יחידך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, לכל יושבי תבל. Someone may wish to rise for Shema. If that is your custom, please do so.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם. בשבחך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין ידיך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We'll take some time to continue individually. Adonai Elohechem. So, if we have been warmed by light enough to be able to receive love, and we start to open to the unity of all that is, then we can also give love. And from there, points a sign, as my beloved teacher, Rabbi Marcia Prager, taught me, a sign pointing this way to the best possible future.
Bim 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 bim
Bim bam, ya ba bye bye bim bam, ya bam bam bim bim bam, ya ba bye bye bim bam, ya da 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 ya da da bim bam, ya da 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 ya da da bim bam. Mi kamocha ba'ali madonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefel, Adonai imlo elam v'aleh. Yam bam bam bim bim bam, yam bye bye bim bam. Yam bam bam bim bim bam, yam bye bye bim bam. Yam bye bye bye, yam bye bye bim bam. Yam bye bye bye, yam bye bye bim bam.
Zur Israel, Kuma Vizrat Israel, Uvdechinu Necha, Yehuda veYisrael, Go'aleinu, Adonai Tzivot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We enter into the Amidah, the standing prayer, which Rachel will lead us in the first three blessings, and we'll continue in silence. You're welcome to follow the words on the pages or follow the longings of your heart.
Adonai sefatai tiftach uviyahi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach uviyahi tehilatecha. May God open my lips that I might utter praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avraham v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Ha'gibor v'Ha'hara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chazdei Avot Imaot, Umevi Geulah Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo ve'ahavav, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye kol chayatam, Meshiv haruach v'morid hagashem, Mechaker chayim bechesed, Mechaye kol chay berachamim rabim, Tzomech noflim berofeh cholim, Umatzir asurim, Umekayem emunoto b'shenei ha'af, michamocha b'diburot umidom elav, melech memit umechayem umatmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lechachayot kol chai. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei kol chai. מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב ביד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך הארץ כבודו. אז בקור רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מנסים לעומת שרפים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומך מלכנו תופיע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך, מתי תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון. תיקדע ותקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים בעינינו תירנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם, לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, וקדוש אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש, האל הקדוש.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו ועל כל ישראל How awesome is this day? Let me count the ways. It's Shabbat. That's awesome. My daughter, when she was very young and picked up on the weekly Shabbat evening gatherings, looked around one Shabbat evening and said, "Wow, it's like a holiday every week." We were like, "Yep." Awesome. It is Rachel's bat mitzvah. Awesome. It is Rosh Chodesh Tevet, a new month, a new moon. Awesome. And it is Hanukkah. So much awesomeness. And because of this, we have the pleasure of reciting Hallel. And I have the pleasure of doing this with my dear friend, Chazan Randall Miller, also known as the Bat Mitzvah Dad. So please rise into praise with us in body or spirit as you're comfortable or able for Hallel.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hallel.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah of day Adonai.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah et Shem Adonai.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Me'ata ve'ad olam.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah,
Hallelujah,
hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. B'tzeit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez.
B'tzeit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez.
Hoita Yehuda lekodsho, Yisrael mamshelotav.
Hayam ravayanos, hayerden yisov leachor.
Ehorim rakedu chelim, givot kivnei tzon. Ehorim rakedu chelim, givot kivnei tzon. Malecha hayom, itanu, הירדן, תיסוב לאחור, ההורים, תרקדו חיילים, גבעות, כבני צאן, מלפני אדון, חולי הארץ, מלפני אלוה יעקב, אהבכו, הצורה גמיים, חלומי, למיינו מים.
Adonai zecharanu yivarech, yivarech et Beit Yisrael,
יבורך את אהרון, יבורך יראי אדוני, הקטונים עם הגדולים, יוסף אדוני אליהם, עליכם ועל בניכם, ברוכים מתן אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ, שמיים לאדוני, והארץ נתן בחרדו, ולא כל ירדו מה, וכל יורדי דומה, אנחנו נבורך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה. הללו את אדוני כל גויים, שבחהו, שבחהו כל העמים. כי גבר עלינו חסדו, באמת אדוני לעולם. הללויה. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמר נא ישראל, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמרו דוד אהרון, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמרו נא יראי אדוני, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמרו נא יראי אדוני, כי לעולם חסדו. פיתולי שערי צדק, אבובם הודיה. פיתולי שערי צדק, אבובם הודיה. זה השער לאדוני, l'Adonai tzadikim yavohu bo. Odechaki anitani vatehili lishua. Odechaki anitani vatehili lishua. Even azu abonim oita lirosh bina. Even azu abonim oita lirosh bina. Met Adonai hayta zot hi niflat le'einenu. Met Adonai hayta zot hi niflat le'einenu. Ze hayom asa Adonai nagila denismechavo. Ze hayom asa Adonai nagila denismechavo. Adonai Hoshiana. Adonai Hoshiana. Adonai Hatzlichana. Adonai Hatzlichana. Tov lehodot ulshimcha la'el lezamer, ki me'olam ve'ad olam ata el. Baruch, Baruch, ata Adonai, ata Adonai, Melech, Mechulal, Batishbachot. You may be seated. And now, for the heavy lifting, we enter into our Torah service, which is so many things. Of course, it's our opportunity to hear words of Torah chanted and to glean what we can from these teachings into our own worlds as it may apply to each of us in our day. Torah is the sacred text of our people, or it's our origin story. It's our source of good, orderly direction, whether we like it or not. And we wrestle with it year after year. And the Torah service offers us also an opportunity to reenact our wanderings through the desert as the Torah will be carried around through the room. For those of you who are familiar with what usually happens during that moment, where you will reach out and touch the Torah with your tzitzit or your sidur or your fingertips and kiss your hand. Today we ask, for the sake of all that is these days and why I can only see your faces from the eyes up. I had a negative test this morning, by the way. I just thought I would share that with you. So hooray. Anyway, today we ask that you follow the Torah with your eyes and your gaze and your bodies, and reach out and kiss the Torah with your hearts instead. And again, we'd like to welcome Rachel's grandmother, Helen, who we can see right here in miniature, and who the people in the Zoomosphere can see probably a little bit better, who's joining us today. And without further ado, is there anything else I'm missing? Oh, yes, thank you. We'd also like to invite up the generations of the family that are present today, as the Torah will literally, physically be passed l'dor vador, from generation to generation until it lands in Rachel's arms. So we invite up Saba, Barry, parents, Julie and Randall, Dan, Annie, and Ben, to join us at the front of the room as we enter the Torah service. And Uncle Josh, who will be hand delivering the Torah. Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha. Malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor vador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim etiv ad irtzoncha et Zion. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Kivecha levad batachnu, melech el ram venisa, Adon olamim. I'm sorry? Vayhi binso Aaron vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oivecha v'yarusu misanecha mipanecha. Ki דבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadol Adonai iti, Oneromena Shemo Yahdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, v'mitnaseh lechol rosh. Romemu, romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu, v'hishtachavu, lehadom rakan kadosh. Romemu, romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu, v'hishtachavu, Yes, you may be seated. In case I haven't mentioned it, Shabbat Shalom. This morning we will be reading from Parashat Miketz as we continue following the story of Yosef. I was thinking about this story, shockingly enough, a Jewish clergy who thinks about Torah. I was thinking about it, and it struck me that Yosef's story is a lot like a game of chutes and ladders. Up we go and down we go, and up we go and down we go. And at this point, we begin our parsha where Yosef is once again down the chute. He is in the prison of Pharaoh, but he's about to climb back up the ladder as his skill in interpreting dreams, which in an earlier parsha ended him up down the chute with his brothers, who put him in a pit and sold him into slavery, whereby he ended up in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, in said prison. He was doing really well for a while. He was doing real well, and then he went back down the chute. And so today we get to see him rise up the ladder, out of the pit, and into continuing the story of his interesting relationship with his brothers. So Rachel has an absolutely gorgeous teaching to offer us on this parsha. I'd also like to add, this morning, we're going to read 5 sections. We'll call 5 aliyot. We'll call 5 people to rise to 5 groups of people to rise to the honor of Torah. And you may see under this beautiful talit, hiding there is another Torah, from which Rachel will read the maftir, the additional reading that was planned for her original bat mitzvah date from Parashat Beha'alotecha, which notably also includes the instructions, which seems so appropriate to today being Shabbat of Hanukkah, the instructions for the Ner Tamid and for light. So, and we'll see another interesting connection a little bit later between Beha'alotecha and this day, and it's just absolutely wonderful the way this all worked out. So we will see 2 Sifrei Torah, 2 Torah scrolls this morning. And so I will begin by calling our first Aliyah. This morning, for our first Aliyah, we call everybody who is present, and if you're home, you can rise from home, who is in the category of essential worker. Ya'amdu, essential workers. Aliyah Harishana. This covers a broad array. And Chazan Randall will be reading our first section today.
So there's the spot right there.
Does somebody want to touch the spot?
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayishlach Paro vayikro et Yosef v'yaritzuhu min habor v'yigalach v'yichalef simlato v'yavo el Paro v'yomer Paro el Yosef kalom kalamti ufoter in oto Va'ani Shamati elecha lemor Tishma chalom Liftor ototi Oto Vayan Yosef et Paro Lemor Bilodai Elohim Vaneh et Shalom Paro.
Essential workers.
Essential workers on Zoom and everywhere.
I think I forgot to mention, and in case you haven't discovered yet, all the readings are found in your Siddur, beginning on page 30 in Hebrew and in English. Okay, for our second Aliyah, we call to join us Rachel's beloved teachers from the John Muir Outdoor School and her piano teacher and her online shul school teachers, and from the Zoomosphere, Rachel's gymnastics coach. Ya'amdu, beloved teachers. I'm sorry? Oh, thank you. And we invite Rachel and Claire Davis to read our second reading.
Baruch Adonai Hambrach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vaidaber Paro El Yosef Bahalomim Hineni Omed Al Sfat Hayor Vehine Min Hayor Olot Sheva Parot Briot Basar Vifot Toar Vatirena Ba'ahu Vihine Sheva Parot Acherot Olot Acharehen Dalot Veraot Toar Me'od Veraot Basar Lo Ra'iti Hahena B'chol Eretz Mitzrayim Laroa V'tochalna haparot harakot v'haraot et sheva haparot harishonot habriot Vatavona el kirbena velo noda kiva'u el kirbena umarehen ra ka'asher batchila va'ikas.
Woof, Yashakar. Fantastic. Here you guys. Oh, beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam atah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Yasher koach to our readers and to our beloved teachers. For our third reading, we call Rachel's Camp Tawanga family for our third Aliyah. And we invite Nico Moore to read from the Torah.
Nika. And take your mask off. Yeah. Can you move that a little, please? You guys want to take those out? Take the out, and one of you want to touch the spot. Got it?
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Ba'areh b'chalomi v'hinei sheva shivoim olot bekarnei echad miliot v'tovot v'hinei sheva shivoim tnumotakot shedufot katim tzomechot acharechem Bativlana hashivoim hadakot et sheva hashivoim hatolot Ba'omar el hachartumim ve'ein magili.
Yashakar. Beautiful, Nika.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam atah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Yasher koach to our reader and to Rachel's dear Camp Tawanga family sisters. For our fourth Aliyah, we call the crew of aunts and uncles, cousins, nephews, Saba and Shelly. Ya'amdu, big happy family. Josh, you want to do that?
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Torah, Baruch atah Adonai, Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Yosef el Paro, Halom Paro, Ehatu, et Asher Elohim, Osei Hagid lefaro, Sheva Parot Hatovot, Sheva Shanim Heina, Besheva Hashivalim Hatovot, Sheva Shanim Heina, Halom Ehadu, Vesheva Haparot, Harakot Veharot, Ha'olom Aharehen. Sheva Shanim Heina, Vesheva Hashivalim, Harakot Shedufot, Hakadim Yehu. Sheva Shnerav Hu Hadavar Asher Dibarti El Paro Asher Elohim Ose Hera Et Paro.
Where did you stop? Right there.
Yasher Koach, and forgive me, I forgot to mention that Miriam Reichenberg was our reader for this Aliyah. Thank you, Yasher Koach, and many blessings to the family. For our fifth Aliyah, we call Harav Chaya and Hechazan Reuven David HaKohen, Aliyah Hamishi, and Rachel's siblings. And as you can see, you may have surmised, Rachel will be reading our fifth Aliyah today. You got it? Baruch et Adonai Hamorah, Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu im kol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Hine sheva shanim ba'ot tzava gadol b'chol eretz Mitzrayim v'kamu sheva shnei ra'av acharehen v'nishkach kol hasava ba'eretz Mitzrayim v'chila harav et haaretz v'lo yivada hasava ba'aretz mipnei harav Hahu acharechen ki chaverhu meod ve'al hishanot hachalom al paro pa'amayim ki nachon hadavar me'im Elohim umemaher Elohim le'asoto ve'ata irei faro ish navon v'chacham v'shitehu al eretz Mitzrayim.
Oh, touch. I was touched.
אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, לחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Stay for a moment, please. May the one who blessed our ancestors also bless you with the sustenance of family. I was trying to think about how I wanted to, the blessing I wanted to offer you, and it was impossible because I feel so blessed to be a part of this family, which is the blessing. May your family continue to be such fertile soil for family of birth, family of choice, family that welcomes and is welcomed into this world from day to day and week to week and month to month and year after year. And may you continue to soak in the joy that nourishes the roots that you are, that grows the branches, the many branches that you have grown that flourish and flower day after day. We say, Ke Nihi Ratzon. We're going to make a little adjustment now to bring the other Sefer Torah over to this table.
This is the big Torah. With a long Torah reading.
Ta'amod, ta'amod, ta'amod. Rachel Shira, bat harav Chaya, vehechazan Reuven David HaKohen, habat mitzvah l'aliyah maftira.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'omim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
לא אוכל אנוכי לבדי לשאת את כל העם זה כי כבד ממני ואם ככה אתעשה לי הורגני נא הרוג אם מצאתי חן בעיניך ועל ערה בראתי ויאמר what's the truth? ויאמר אדוני אל משה אספה לי 70 איש מזקני ישראל אשר ידעת כי הם זקני העם ושוטריו ולקחת אותם אל אוהל מועד והתייצבו שם עמך וירדתי ודברתי עמך שם ויצאתי מן הרוח אשר אליך ושמתי אליהם ונשאו איתך במסע העם ולא תישא אתה לבדך ואל העם תאמר התפרשו למחר ואכלתם בשר כי בכיתם באוזני אדוני לאמור מי יאכילנו בשר כי טוב לנו במצרים ונתן אדוני לכם בשר ואכלתם לא יום אחד תאכלון ולא יומיים ולא 5 ימים ולא 10 ימים ולא 20 יום עד חודש ימים עד אשר יצא מאפיכם והיה לכם לזרע יען כי מאסתם את אדוני אשר בקרבכם ותבכו לפניו לאמור מי למה זה יצאנו ממצרים ויאמר משה 600,000 רגלי העם אשר אנוכי בקרבו ואתה אמרת בשר אתן להם ואכלו חודש ימים חצון ובקר ישחט להם ומצא לכם אם את כל דגי הים יאסף להם ומצא להם ויאמר אדוני אל משה היד אדוני תקצר אתה תראה היקרך דברים לו. Where is it? I lost it. Oh, there it is. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
We invite Rachel's nephews and cousin Max and Leo and Owen to come and shower her with sweetness.
Hey, all you kids and teenagers, there's a lot of candy up here for you. Come and get it.
Shabarichu Chadu Israel ve'oraita v'kudsha Barichu Chadu. Okay. That was a glorious feeding frenzy to witness. And now that she's been showered with the sweetness of sugar and love expressed, you are about to be showered with blessing. So I invite you to take off your shower cap and let it soak in. Excuse me a moment. Yeah. So first, I invite Bat Mitzvah Mom to share a blessing on behalf of Rabbi Joshua.
We know you're out there, Rabbi Joshua. We love you and we miss you. These words are from our beloved Rabbi Joshua, who moved to New York this summer, but who has stayed steady with Rachel, helping see her through to this day and letting me really be mom. Yeah. Rachel, in your Torah portion, we read about Joseph's transformation. We see this in his maturing to a point where he can not only forgive his brothers who wronged him, but also use his talents to make a huge difference by literally making possible the feeding of an entire region during a time of drought. It has been pointed out by others that this transformation is symbolized by the words dream, Shalom, and bread, lechem, being so similar to one another. Joseph's gifts that he was only dimly aware of when he had his first dreams have now matured, and he is able to use them to nourish others. The bat mitzvah invites exactly this kind of transformation. And I think this is what parents pray for, that as a child becomes a young adult, that their gifts begin to become integrated and they can learn to be of service to the broader community and world. While your path in many ways is so different than Joseph's, I think that we are celebrating today. I think what we are celebrating today is the same integration, dream becoming bread. Our witnessing of you taking your place among us and sharing and offering your gifts on a new level. I remember when you arrived in Ashland at Emek Shalom as a third grader or a fourth grader. It has been such a joy for Vanessa and Paloma and me to be part of your growing up, to be in community with you, to witness you becoming you as years passed. I bless your parents, Rabbi Julie and Chazan Randall, your brothers, Ben and Annie and Daniel, and your whole family at this extraordinary time. Today, you are bringing us real wisdom at a time of challenge when it feels necessary to hear real wisdom. Today, we learn from you, and we will all be wind at your back going forward as you move into these next exciting chapters in your life. May you go well into this adventure, Rachel. Go with my blessings always. Mazel tov, Joshua. This is a very tall man offering Rachel a hug.
My turn. Okay, her parents know this, but I'll share with you. I have quite some maternal feelings towards this young woman, so if you'll give me a moment. Rachel, I've known you for, I think about half or more than half your life now. First met you when you and my daughter, Camilla, hit the ground running on one Shabbos afternoon in Plainfield, Massachusetts. where we spent the day together. And you, even then, you were a reflection of this family of welcoming, you know, as you welcomed our family, and in particular, my daughter, into your heart, just like that. And I know that relationship has continued over the years, even across 3,000 miles. And it nourishes my heart. So the blessing I have for you today, I'm actually going to draw from your maftir. As you grow more and more into the person that you are unfolding to be always, the strong, smart, fun, with a, whether you know it or not, or you claim it or not, with a strong bent for leadership. As you grow older and grow towards adulthood, I know Jewish tradition considers you an adult today, but we'll give you a few years of grace. You don't have to grow up just yet, but as you do, as you continue to grow up, I'm going to call on the moment in your maftir where Moshe says, "Oi, I can't handle this riffraff by myself. What do you expect me to do here?" And God says, "Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to." He was also, by the way, given this advice by his father-in-law a couple of books before in Sefer Shemot, just after they escape Mitzrayim, after they actually are kicked out of Mitzrayim by Pharaoh himself. Here's a team. His father-in-law says, get a team. And here in Parashat Beha'alotecha, God says, look, I'm going to give you a team. I'm going to give you 70 people who are on your team. You don't have to do it alone. We see here today, look at this team that you have. And this is like a small fraction. You can't see the Zoom people, but how many screens of attendees do we have, please? 86 attendees on Zoom. So like 3.5 screens of people on Zoom. And however many people couldn't be with us here today for whatever reason, we're your team. And may you be blessed with the courage and the willingness to call on your team whenever you need to. And I know that you do. I know that you call on your brothers and your sisters and your parents, and it's evident that you call on your friends. It is my blessing to you that you may always remember that that is always an option, and that you use that option willingly and freely, and that your team may always come running whenever you are in need. Can you? So at this point, Rachel is going to chant for us verses from the prophets, known as Haftarah. Haftarah is not half a Torah. It literally means like additional. It's related to the word maftir. It's an additional reading. It's from the prophets. If the Torah is our good orderly direction sort of rule book, the prophets are the voices of, yeah, I know that's what the rules say, but we care less about the rules and more about how we treat each other. So today's Haftarah is actually, not only is it the Haftarah from Parashat Beha'alotecha, which was, I'll remind you, Rachel's original bat mitzvah date in June, and from which she read the additional reading, the maftir reading today, but it is also the Haftarah for Shabbat of Hanukkah. So it just all comes together in these verses, which are found in your Sidurim. And as a little bonus tidbit, words from this Haftarah were often referenced by President George Washington in his writings and appears in, is it your actual favorite or one of your favorites? One of Rachel's favorite shows of Hamilton. Stay tuned.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'neviim tovim v'ratza b'dvreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe abdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayad malach Adonai bihoshua lemor ko amar Adonai tzevaot im bidrachai telech vim et mishmarti tishmor vegam achat tadin et beitzi vegam tishmor et chatzerai venatati lecha malachim Ben ha'omdim ha'ele shemana Yehoshua HaKohen HaGadol Ata Bere'echa Hayoshvim Lefanecha Ki Anshe Mofet Hema Ki Hineni Mevi Et Avdi Tzemach Ki Hine ha'even asher natati lifnei Yehoshua al even achat shiva einaim hineni mefateach pitucha neum Adonai tzevaot umashti atavon haaretz hahi beyom echad bayom hahu neum Adonai tzevaot tikreu ish trechu el tachat gefen ve'el tachat te'ena. And everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, a moment alone in the shade, alone in this minyan we've made. One last time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haomim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem she'kol devarav emet v'tzedek. Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'ne'emanim devaracha v'davar echad midbarecha al chor lo yeshuv rekam ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman atah baruch atah Adonai El Hane'eman b'chol devarav. Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayinu v'la uvat nefesh toshia b'mhei ravi yameinu baruch atah Adonai mesamech Tzion b'vaneha. Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu b'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha u'b'melchut beit David meshichecha b'mhei rayavo v'yogel ibenu al kiso lo yeshev tsar v'lo yinchalu od acherim et kevodo ki v'shem kodshecha nishbata lo shelo yichbenu ro le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai Magen David Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu kedusha u'menucha lechavod u'letifaret. Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mverchim otach yiparach shimcha befi kol chai temid le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Yasha kochech. Oh, wow. At this time, in the presence of Torah, we'd like to offer prayers for healing. And invite you, if you're in the Zoom room, to please enter the names of those for whose healing you're praying into the chat. And the text for this Misha Berach is found on page 36. And if you like, while we chant, you can say the names aloud of the people in your life for who you're praying. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikol HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Nekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Set the scene. Oxford, England, February 2020. We're reading the New York Times before going to bed one night. There's a case in the US. Oh my God, California had its first outbreak. Now there's one in Northern California. Mom, what's happening? There's a case in Oregon now. Ben, here's some masks. Use them. Rachel, put your mask on. There's so many people around us. We didn't know what was happening. Home, March 2020. Rachel, we're pulling you out of school next week. This is your last sleepover for now. No hugging. Jim, are they closing school? They just emailed to say school's closed next week. We'll go back after spring break. Spoiler alert, it was the next year's spring break. The beginning of the pandemic was harsh and sudden for so many people, and we all have our own ways of telling this long chapter of our lives. And we all have our own little refuges, our own little lights in this time of darkness. Joseph, the main character of this week's Torah portion, has a long and complicated story that spans many chapters, much like COVID-19. The main point of background that it might be important for you to know before I start is that he was sold into slavery by his brothers and somehow ends up in the Pharaoh's prison. This week, we read the section of the Torah where Joseph is finally released from prison in order to interpret one of Pharaoh's dreams. Joseph's long narrative is interspersed with tales of suffering, searching, breaking, and forgiving in an endless cycle in order to get to a final moment of forgiveness. All throughout, Joseph continues to be pulled back down into the darkness, down into the hard experiences forced upon him. Whenever he gets a chance of escape, gets close to the light, he's pulled down once again until finally, when he was freed by Pharaoh and then elevated to a high position in the court, he is seemingly granted passage into freedom. It seems too easy, unreal almost, considering his previous circumstances. He is now in the light in a physical sense, but he still doesn't have closure to his many sufferings. He doesn't have light in his heart and mind. It is only when Joseph invites his brothers over for dinner while still pretending to be someone he wasn't that he is able to forgive them for what they did to him so many years before, and they forgive him in return. When he gets this sense of love and understanding, he can finally bring himself fully into the light. As I mentioned before, but you probably need no reminder of, we've been living through a global pandemic for some time now, 25 months to be exact, and it feels like nothing is ever certain. Every time we have found some new hope and thought of escaping, we are pushed down again into spiraling thoughts and quarantines. With hopes of vaccination and lowering infection rates and new technology to battle this virus, we are all tricked into believing this will all be over soon. One day, this seemingly endless war will end. It could be in a month or it could be in 2 years. We can never be sure when we'll have our freedom again, and we can't get too comfortable with anything. When this ends, we will have to find our way in a changed world, just as Joseph found his way out of prison and into the Pharaoh's court. We will have to forgive what has happened and know that all our losses can create something good. We must forgive ourselves and those around us, and above all else, we must say thank you. Let me explain why. The COVID lockdown has given us some amazing blessings, such as growing closer with our family, learning not to take things for granted, and exploring things that we may never have had a second thought about if we didn't have to be in isolation. For me, I'm so grateful to have to be quarantined because it meant that I got to live with my brother for longer than 2 months for the first time in nearly 10 years. I also know that before quarantine, I took so many things for granted, and now I pay more attention to the little things happening around me. But though we may be able to find the little gratitudes of this time, the suffering and pain in the world can sometimes outweigh the good. In the book Looking for Alaska by John Green, the character Alaska Young asks some seemingly chaotic and unreasonable questions, but they are later found to be incredibly important to apply to one's life. I know my mom said something about this on Yom Kippur for Emek Shalom's service, but it wasn't very memorable. The most impactful moment for me was when Alaska quotes Simón Bolívar from The General in His Labyrinth and asks, "How can we get out of this labyrinth of suffering?" This can be interpreted differently for everyone, and I urge you to find your own answer. But today I am looking at Alaska's. She says that the only way out of this labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Forgive the world and the people around you, and above all else, forgive yourself. Joseph's life is definitely a labyrinth. He keeps hitting bolted doors and barred windows. He knows light is reachable, but he does not know how. COVID is a labyrinth. We know where we need to go, but we can't figure out how to get there. We've hit so many walls in our search for escape, especially grief and loss, and we still aren't out. But the only way to the light is through the darkness. Just like Joseph, it has seemed that we may be given freedom every now and then, but we still can't fully get out of this labyrinth. It is also Hanukkah right now. It is the darkest time of year in the Northern Hemisphere, and as we get closer to the winter solstice, we add more and more light to our lives in the form of candles. Aristotle says, it is in the darkest times that we must focus to see the light. Especially now, we must cherish the time and happiness that is given to us. It is vital that we each find our own light to escape this darkness. For me, that light is Tawanga. Going to camp this summer was truly the light at the end of the tunnel, or so I thought. I had the time of my life, just like always at camp, but COVID decided to take a turn for the worse when I got home. I still try to focus on the experiences I can have with my friends from camp when I have a bad day, and I talk to some of my friends daily. I know these friends and memories will always be my light in dark times. My blessing for you today is to embrace your labyrinths. Suffer well and understand it, but don't run away. The only way to solve a labyrinth is to go through, all the way to the end. Don't give up and don't lose yourself along the way. Find a way through these hard times and come back stronger. Yerida letzorech aliyah, or in English, go down for the sake of coming up. Don't forget what happened, but don't forget that you need to live now and cherish the memories you are making. These are the moments that will shape you and get you through. Living through a labyrinth like this pandemic will change someone, and I know for a fact we are very different than we were 2 years ago. But I believe we can come back with the power to make a difference in the suffering of others. Life is a series of labyrinths, but each one has meaning. Let them have meaning. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for that really wonderful teaching. Oh, are you ready for more blessing? Whether you are or not, here it comes. I invite Julie and Randall.
My dear Rachel, this is one of those wow times. Here we are finally at your bat mitzvah after a year and a half of delay and pandemic, to listen to you learn Torah, to offer your Devar Torah, to hear of your community service project has been really inspiring to me. Today I feel so much love and pride and respect. In our Joseph story, 2 weeks ago, we heard that Jacob referred to his beloved son Joseph as Ben Zikanim, the child of his older age. I've often pondered this because you are a child of my older age. And for me, that has meant two really important things. Number one, I've been able to be present in your growing up much more than with my other kids because I didn't have to go to work every day. I could be there to help. And so I was there to be able to observe all the things of your growing up. I remember when you would sit in your little high chair and next to you, there'd be outside the window, there would be Pecky the woodpecker, and how you discovered Pecky, and it was so amazing to you. And I remember when the first time that you discovered snow. That was really an amazing time to watch you discover butterflies and flowers. And then as you grew older, to be able to challenge yourself with gymnastics, to be able to not be afraid to do the hard things, to be able to notice things and joys in the moment. These were all gifts that I was able to receive from you, because you were my bat zikanim. And so, I'll put it back there. So as we move forward from this peak to the next and the next, may we truly appreciate the unfolding of each moment in all of its muchness, its fullness, its me'odecha. For as we learn in Psalm 118, this moment, this time, this day is the gift that God has given to us. May we rejoice and be glad in it. I'll now hold this close to my mouth and hand this to your mom.
Rachel just said can I say it? She's been dreading my blessing.
46 bullet points.
It's not too bad. Rachel Carolyn, our blueberry, blue, boobaloo, monkey moo, Rachel Shira, Ruchala, Rach, Monkey Puss Jr., Rachel Bear, Ray. You are a dream come true. And when I was pregnant with you, I dreamt, Ben did too, I dreamt about a girl swirling through our lives, spreading joy and light, and you have. And I dreamt of female voices singing to me that you are coming and that you would be safe and strong and good, and you are. I felt your spirit in your body inside of me, so powerful, entirely your own, life longing for itself. And you came into the world with your poise and your smarts and your initiations and your expansive language and your radiant smile and your independence. You terrified us most every day in those first years with your summits of the cabinets, turning the drawers into steps, using your little fingers to pry open even the baby-proofed drawers. Not kidding. You climbed into the drawers, into the dishwasher, onto the windowsills at our very tall house. You got yourself onto the top of the dining room table at age 1, standing atop it because, oh, how you wanted to touch and get closer to the stained glass light hanging from the ceiling. And to anything that we said no, you said, try and stop me. And yes, when you were only 3, you hiked 2 miles across the rough Alaskan boreal forest bog terrain to our cabin. For those people here and out there who've hiked to our cabin, it's really hard even for an adult. You were the baby of our Alaska pack of beloved friends. You were the little sister Annie always wanted. You were the sister in the arms of Daniel who beamed as he held you, and as I glimpsed in him the father he would one day be. You were the sister who, when Ben first held you, proclaimed, I never want her to be babysitted. You are the child of your father's elders' years. You are the daughter who carries the names and blessed memory of strong and beloved women into the world. You are the one who would complete our family. It's not that long, really. No, the third page is really short. You have been brave and resilient, overcoming hurricanes and twisters and lightning and thunder in Philadelphia, 2 cross-country moves, living in Israel, which meant leaving one home behind and finding another across the ocean, only to leave again. Facing the vault, the beam, the bars, the floor, twirling and whirling through the air and into your strength, and holding on to joy and light and hope as you've navigated the labyrinth of these pandemic times. You are fierce and curious, resilient and wise, creative and confident, complex and deep, inspiring and mystifying. You're an excellent writer, skilled gymnast, avid reader, a loyal, true bosom friend, a competent musician, a pursuer of justice, a fashionista who's been picking out your outfits since age 1. You're a skilled outdoors woman, a great car dance party partner, and you love a fine cup of tea. May all that we have given you and will give you be for blessing, strengthening and empowering you in your life. May you feel walking beside you for all of your days, our love, and the support of your community here in this room and out there in the world, and all that you will ever get to know in the future. May your Judaism anchor and inspire and affirm you with its deep connection to history and your ancestors. May it be a fountain of wisdom and joy and spiritual and communal holding. I bless you to be as strong as you have always been and stronger still. to be true to your spark and your vision, your clarity, your values, to never lose yourself in others, but to continue to love with your whole heart, to shine your light into the world, bringing your gifts, showing up for this world that needs you and will be blessed by you. And the world so needs you, Rachel, and already is and will continue to be blessed by you. You are precious, a true ray of light, and a most stunning reflection of the radiance of the divine. Mazel tov, Bubalu. I love you. I am so proud of you. So we're going to offer Rachel a very ancient blessing, said to be one of the oldest blessings in Judaism. Parents often give it to their children. And you can respond to us with Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so. I invite you all here and in Zoom on YouTube to lift up your hands towards Rachel. And Rachel, I invite you to put your hands down to receive. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yaher Adonai p'nav elecha v'choneka. Yis Adonai p'nav elecha v'yasem necha Shalom.
Thank you. I'd now like to invite Adi Goldberg, former president of Temple Emek Shalom, to present Rachel with a gift and with her certificate of Bat Mitzvah.
You ready for more blessings? Feels like, and that's not all. Here's the Ginzu knife, right? So here we go. I'm going to take off the mask. Fully vaccinated, tested, okay? So here we go. Rachel, I have known you since your first Shabbat in Ashland. I need Julie, right? You and your mom came and were looking at houses and schools in preparation for moving here. It was Friday night and your mom was involved in preparing for the service with Rabbi Joshua. And I was there helping prep for the Oneg. I remember back when I was an education director and I would bring my kids to shul all the time. They were bored. It seemed like a perfect opportunity to have you help me. So we diced bread, dessert, fruit, and your finger. I searched high and low for the temple first aid kit and I never found it. You, however, were a good sport and you continued helping me prep while wrapping toilet paper around your finger. A few months later, you made the final move to Ashland from the East Coast and you missed your friends from Jewish day school, but you somehow found a niche in this new community. You were gracious about your advanced Hebrew skills with your temple age mates as you continued being the daughter who had two parents who were very involved and worked at the temple. You'd finish your homework and nap in your mom's office. On Shabbat, you'd sit in the back of the sanctuary as your dad lent his voice to our community's prayer and you drew. You became a knowing and kind presence with Paloma, Rabbi Joshua's daughter, when she was asked to spend more time than she probably wanted to at the shul. And as I got to know you, I was gifted with gymnastic and music performances, laughter, and a presence that could navigate multi-generational social situations with ease. It was impressive. You backpacked, you traveled the world. We counted last night at least 6 states in Europe since you've moved here. And then COVID hit. So you decided in your spare time you'd learn to play multiple musical instruments as well as go to school and maintain deep friendships. Your first scheduled bat mitzvah was the Torah portion Baha'alotacha, which was mine. The difference was my maftir was shared with 4 other women and you did it by yourself today. So now we passed Baha'alotacha and we're on to a new section. We've started the Torah all over again. And we're in the thick of Genesis where we get to meet our ancestral aunts and uncles and grandparents. It's a big family. It's an opinionated family, a skilled family, a well-traveled family with its shares of ups and downs. Sound familiar? It was a family of dreamers, and much like yours, they continue to reinvent and reinterpret their narratives. So, Rachel, if you believe that McCate's finally found you, what's Joseph's message for you? He reminds you to not only dream dreams, but to listen to them. To never be afraid to let that beautiful imagination of yours soar. It was not Joseph's dreams, however, that made him a leader. It was Pharaoh's. Our own dreams can give us direction, but other people's dreams give us an opportunity. So you come from a family of dreamers and listeners, and as I've watched you from near and afar, I see you gifting your camp friends and your shul friends and your school friends and your family with that same dreaming listening skill. So on behalf of the temple, I get to give you a present and a bat mitzvah certificate. It's a traveling Sabbath and Havdalah set. How fitting. It's perfect for a family that wanders from Washington to New Hampshire to Alaska to Pennsylvania to Israel to Oregon, Colorado, and beyond. So whatever dreams you dream, Rachel, whatever adventures you undertake, carry our love with you. This set can remind you that wherever you are, keep dreaming, keep listening, keep envisioning. And if you ever wonder if you've ever done enough, if you've measured up, which I know Joseph did, just look around this room and remember this moment. You have done enough. Today is the beginning of our shared adult journey, and I can't wait to hear where these candlesticks and spice boxes travel. Send postcards. And by the way, here's a Band-Aid. Travel with you. Thank you, Edie.
Okay, I'm going to do a little actual house cleaning here to make way for our Torah lifters and rappers, Dan and Ben and Annie and Dana. So I'm just going to clear the decks a little. That's going to come in this one. Yeah. Okay, please come up for the lifting and wrapping of the Torah. That chair. Dan, yeah. One, two, three.
Asher Sam Moshe, Lifnei Bnei Yisrael, Hofi Adonai, V'yad Moshe. Torah, Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, Tziva lanu Moshe.
On page 38, we'll find our concluding text for the Torah service as we give our Torahs a rest until next Shabbat. Eitz Chaim hi lamachzikim lach v'tomcheha me'ushat derachea darchei noam v'chol netzivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekeh. So now, Rachel's going to have an opportunity to tell us about her bat mitzvah project. So I spoke a little bit before about being a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the mitzvot. Beautiful teaching I was given by Rabbi Andrea Cohen-Keener about the word mitzvah. When we put a mem, the letter in front of a word, it can have the effect of making it some sort of noun. In this case, like a tool. So a mitzvah, literally a commandment, but if you take apart all the letters, we have a mem, which makes it a tool, and a tzadi, which is like a bent up crooked letter, and a vav, which is a nice upstanding straight letter, and a hey, which is in fact shorthand for God. So a mitzvah is a tool for taking bent things and straightening them out and bringing them one step closer to divine presence. And Rachel is going to share with us how she did that in preparation for this day.
As Chazan Diana said, the word mitzvah means commandment or good deed. Every B'nai Mitzvah completes a project that fulfills several mitzvot as part of their stepping into Jewish adulthood. For my mitzvah project, I chose to raise money and make care packages full of snacks, inspiring quotes, and art to give to each and every employee at the Ashland Asante Community Hospital. I decided to complete this project because the staff at our local hospital have been so overwhelmed recently due to this summer's surge in the Delta variant of COVID-19. As I worked on this project, I felt so grateful for everyone in the community who donated money, and I would like to thank Katrina Meister for donating lots of her artwork, Sherry Friedman and all her assistants for baking the employees hundreds of cookies, and Susan Aronson, Don Dilly, and Steve Hirsch for helping with information and logistics of this project. Together, we have raised over $1,000, and I'm so glad to have made a difference at the hospital, and this has been an incredibly meaningful experience. The staff at our local hospital truly need the community's support right now, and they were so grateful to have everyone involved. Though it may have been a challenging project for me to accomplish, I feel so happy that I've been able to help bring joy into the lives of our local hospital staff.
Aleinu teaches us that it is upon us to pour blessing back into the collaborative project of creation. So thank you for sharing with us how you've been a part of that, among other ways, and I invite you to lead us in Aleinu.
Aleinu shabeach ladon hakol b'teikin zaleu tzereshit shenatan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu v'anachnu orim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamalchim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim Beyoser Aretz U'Moshe Vikaro B'Shamayim Mima'ah U'Shchinatu Zo Begofei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Eino Emet Malkeinu Zulato, Kakatu, Betorato, Viadata Yom, Behashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai, Elohim, Bashamayim, Mima'ah, Ve'aretz, Mitachat Eino. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech ha'kol Bayom Hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, U'Shemo
At this time, we invite once again the spirits of those who are no longer in their bodies to join us, and we continue to lift them up as we say Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. If you're in mourning or observing a yahrzeit today, we invite you to rise and to say the name of the person for whom you're sharing Kaddish. If you're in the Zoom community, please enter the names in the chat. And anybody whose custom it is to rise for Kaddish Yatom, please do so.
Yikadal v'kadash shemei rabba. Ba'alma divra chirote v'amlich mahute. B'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'ayla me'me amaya. Yibarach v'ishtabach v'pa'ar v'romam v'naseh. V'tadar v'taleh v'talal shmei kudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Zichronam libracha. May their memories be for a blessing. Now Rachel will leave us with some closing words and lots of gratitude.
I want to thank everyone here today who traveled anywhere from Ashland to DC in person and on Zoom for supporting me through such a hard time and for believing in me to continue to push through and finish this experience. Orly, thank you for continuing to push my learning of the prayers for so many years, especially as we suffered through PE and theater this semester. Steve Portnoy, thank you for running all the complicated Zoom and YouTube things. You are really good at it. Thank you for also always being a source of humor in the corner of the sanctuary and for giving so much to the congregation throughout COVID. Diana, thank you for flying all the way out here to lead this service with me. I've always loved spending time with you and your family, and I'm so glad I got to share this experience with you. Rabbi Joshua, thank you for welcoming our family so graciously into the TES community and for continuing to work with me even after you moved away. 80, thank you also for helping to welcome our family into this wonderful community and being the representative today. You have contributed so much to me over the years, from metal chickens, I still have him in my backyard, to your great wisdom, and you are such an important person in my life. Nico, Miriam, Rachel, and Claire for chanting today. I love you all, and I'm so lucky to have you in my life. All my teachers, specifically Cerise, Marcia, Jim, Nasser, and Tammy, you have taught me so much throughout my life, and I'm so grateful for everything you have given me. Ben, Annie, and Dan, thank you for being the world's best siblings and always being there for me to rant to. You have been such a big part of my quarantine experience, and I'm so grateful to have spent the time with you that I have. I love you all. Saba and Shelly, thank you for always being there for me, giving me so many gifts of every type, and for being a steady and positive force in my life. Dad, thank you for always making me so happy, and even though we occasionally disagree, you are such an important part of who I have become. I love you so much. Thank you, Mom, for being my least favorite teacher, but making me laugh through the tears nonetheless. You are great at what you do, and I love you. G10A River Noodles, you've helped me through so much, and I will never forget the structure we have made. I love you more than anything. L, thank you for writing and sharing your song and for being one of my biggest inspirations. G9, and really all of Chalutz 1, you have changed my life. We had a rocky summer, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love you so much, and you have made me who I am today. Twongans, you have kept me going throughout COVID, and I can't imagine life without you. I love you, have fun, be safe, make good choices, and bring back stories, as Sarah would say. And again, thank you so much to everyone who's attending today.
And now we invite the B'nai Mitzvah class of Temple Emek Shalom to lead us in the blessings for Kiddush and Motzi.
Should I put my mask on? No, I'm on.
Rachel, would you like to hold the Kos Shel Bracha?
Covered up my thing.
Y'all can sing
does Kiddush have a melody? Yeah, what's the melody? No, like the beginning. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai L'chaim. What's the opening?
Same.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Yum, yum, bum, bum.
While they do some tearing and sharing, I also want to thank everybody for being here, and I especially want to thank Rachel's family for inviting me. What an honor and a pleasure, and an opportunity to be with the family a little bit more over these last couple of days. I'm so grateful. And Rachel's Camp Tawanga family is going to come up and lead us in a closing song. And after that, those of us who are here in the room, please join us outside for a celebratory meal. And those of us on the Zoom, we will be holding you in our hearts as you eat whatever your next meal happens to be, depending on what time zone you're in. And the words for this song can also be found on page 41 in your Siddur. Yeah, you guys.
I'm gonna do
The chair. The chair.
I'll make.
Here we go. Here comes the. Hi, Maya. What?
Oh,
No, it's for L, I think.
Wait, do we want to? Oh, we're like holding the microphone for it.
So we can bring this mic here a little bit. Like that.
Sure.
You wanna?
May God bless and keep you. Can you hear our song? May the light of God shine on you. Can you hear our song? May God's grace go with you even when you're far from home. Can you hear our song for the love you show? From the mountaintop to the valleys up, we keep alive the flame, bringing glory to your name, written on the stone. Can you hear our song? Good companions walk beside you. Can you hear our song? And may the words of God inside you. Can you hear our song? And when you lose your way, may God's love bring you home. Can you hear our song for the love you show? From the mountaintop to the valleys, oh, you keep alive the flame, bringing glory to your name, written on the stone. Can you hear our song? You give blessing, mercy, happiness and peace. My eternal soul is in your hands. May your kindness never cease. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you
From the mountaintop to the valleys low, we keep alive the flame, bringing glory to your name. It's written on the stone. Can you hear our song? I feel so put my shoes back on.